All systems go. Clear for takeoff.
What's going on, everybody? We're back Thursday, which means usually pretty small slates. We got 5 Gyiraszin. It's better than I think the 4 we've had the past 2 weeks. Looking at weather, let's see what Kevin Ross says. So Chicago and Pittsburgh still don't have those lineups out either. First game that locks, which is weird, but yellow-orange, so a little concerned. I'm not sure how much interest, a little pitching interest in that one. Then Oakland and the White Sox tagged as yellow, so monitor weather. Yesterday, didn't think we'd have to. And then that Cleveland Dodgers game, man, burned me. I didn't jump off. He tagged it orange. He was notifying people there was risk. I stayed on it. It cost me. Thankfully, I had like Jose Ramirez who got it done early. The Dodgers were, man, they were in for a big, big night if that game was still going on. But hope everybody out there doing well. Gyiraszin, how was your Thursday treating you? What's going on this slate?
Man, over here in Metro Detroit, man, we're floating over here. Got a shitload of rain last night. Metro Airport was underwater. Everything's underwater. Trees were down, and now we're sitting here waiting on another nice little storm rolling through. So, hey, it's going to be a little fun night. That's all right. As long as my computer works, Title, I'm all right. I can do some, best ball drafts, do whatever I need to do to pass some time. But, yeah, hey, like you mentioned, nothing better than having a safety meeting and having the garage door open. And it's raining a little bit, and it's kind of cool. I like watching storms, so that's going to be one of them nights. It is what it is. Better than snow, man. Living in the Midwest,
Yeah.
It's better than snow, and we start getting around football, and that snow word starts coming around, and I'm getting too old for that shit. I got too many hockey and baseball injuries. Man, it starts getting cold. I feel it.
Hey, I'm with you. That's why I moved Gyiraszin. Screw the winters. There's not enough good. I mean, August, you're still winding down on the good months. But yeah, it's raining by you. But yeah, safety meetings in the rain, nothing better. It's always sunny here, which you like. Monsoon season, it's supposed to be hitting. I don't know when, but it's always a good time during that as well. Let's see who we got in the YouTube chat before we go pitching game by game on this 5-game slate. Richie Smalls, We the People, Jonathan, O'Kee, Parabai, Kinlinen, Butthole Jenkins, Nymphu. What's going on, everybody? All the grinders, I keep saying it, but until NFL season, not much going on. There's still PGA. There's still MMA. So there's still a lot, I guess, going on technically. But MLB compared to NFL, NBA, when all the sports are going on, it's the dog days. It's the grind time, like Gyiraszin said at night. Get in some best ball drafts. Drafters.com, going to be overlaying that $20 contest. $300K up top, $3 $30K up top. If you don't have an account, head on over. Use that promo code SHIPIT. They will match 100% from $20 to $100. And, of course, if you're not a member at ShipItNation.com, best deal you'll get right now, Blast Off Bundle, 321. It's actually second best. Annual $599 a month or a year comes out to $49 a month. Blast Off Bundle, $321. Takes you through the NFL season, projections, ownership, core plays, everything you need, proprietary tools. NBA will be going on. NHL will be going on. MMA, golf. No better time. Get in and get in the Discord. Enough of that, Gyiraszin. Let's talk some baseball, 5-game slate, heading over to pitching. It's solid. There's at least multiple pitchers that at DraftKings especially, because the price ranges up top, Pablo Lopez, Justin Steele, Merrill Kelly. We're just going to group all of these pitchers in the same boat today. I think Kyle Gibson's interesting, like Dean Kramer yesterday. This Toronto lineup it's not good. Very underwhelming. So Kyle Gibson, I'm going right back to him, 4.5K prop, juice on the over, comes in probably lower owned than all three of Lopez, Steele, and Merrill Kelly. He definitely will. And then if you go all the way down, Ken Waldichuk, the two guys in the White Sox-Oakland game, Jesse Schultens, Ken Waldichuk, 5.3K, 5K on DraftKings. I prefer Schultens against Oakland. I think had Waldichuk's worse, but Schulten's still kind of an unknown. But I think the popular route will be going Pablo Lopez and Merrill Kelly. Justin Steele will be lower owned than both of them, sandwiched in the middle, but still will be decently owned on this slate. And then a lot of people are going to go all the way to the bottom to one of those two, so people can pay up at bats. But I think Gibson's interesting in the mid-tier. That's not my short breakdown on pitching. Give us some winners, Gyiraszin.
I mean, the top three are obvious, right? Lopez, Steele, Kelly for me over on FanDuel. Lopez for me is my favorite. I mean, look at his game logs, been pitching really well. He does get a tough matchup in Texas. So, little bit concerned about that. But hey, I mean, we're working with a short slate here today. So we're trying to find something that we like. But Steele, I think of the three there, Lopez, Steele, and Kelly. I think those are my favorite three. I might even add Gibson as you kind of mentioned. I mean, being a one pitcher site on FanDuel, I don't generally, research some of the pitchers. I don't even think I'm going to even think about playing here today. But I think I got it broke down to the four between Lopez, Steele, Kelly, Gibson. I can't. Berrios is 9,900, same price as Gibson on FanDuel. I'm not even thinking about Berrios. He's just been too inconsistent for me all year. Kelly's concerning. I mean, he's up and down, man. It's just so inconsistent. I mean, if I'm paying 10-2, I'll find the $700 on FanDuel and get up to Lopez. I think Steele's a good pivot off Lopez, who will probably be the highest owned pitcher here today. There are some strikeouts in that Pittsburgh bat lineup, but as you mentioned a little earlier, you got a little bit of weather concerns there. So that's definitely something to keep your eye on. But for me, it's Lopez all day on top for me. I think he's got the best matchup. As I mentioned, though, it is a little scary with Texas. But going down to Gibson, I think Gibson's interesting, as you mentioned yesterday with Kramer. Gibson's been, he's right around generally around 5 to 6 Ks. He usually gets about 5-6 innings. So, he's in line for the win. So I don't mind him at 9,900 and he can get you 40 points. If I can get 40 points out of any pitchers mid-30 today, I'm taking a title. I'm moving on, building me some bats.
And he's talking FanDuel, everybody, not DraftKings, of course.
Right. And I just think that I'm not going to get smoked. There's only a few pitchers that I'm really afraid of. I mentioned Spencer Strider, guys like that. So to me, I've been paying down at pitching. So, I think Gibson's in play and Lopez are my two favorites the more I sit here and talk.
Yeah, I really like Gibson. I'm going right back. Kramer was my guy yesterday. I'm going right back to Gibson, saying he's going to be pretty low owned, 10, 20% range. So Merrill, Kelly, Steele, Lopez. You said Lopez 1, right? And then who was your other? How would you rank?
I'll go Steele 2, but you got to watch that weather. Merrill Kelly, I think he's just up and down, a little scary for me. I mean, you look at the guy's game log; he's been up and down all over the place. I don't know. I mean, he had 3 strikeouts, 5 innings against San Diego last start, 22 points. Colorado, he should have, destroyed them. He had 11 Ks. Dodgers, he struggled against. It seems like almost every other start, Kelly's doing fairly well. I mean, if you want to go by that, he'd in line for a decent start. But I just think Lopez he's just a better pitcher overall, been just more consistent. So I think that's your guy if you want to go that route. But if you need the savings, I think I'd go down to Gibson on FanDuel.
I like it. I did forget to mention, I do not know how it slipped my mind, but our guy over here, Hebrew Cheetah, almost everybody knows him by now. All the success in the MMA streets, gave back $1,000. Did join us at the admin team, SHIPITNation.com today. Going to be playing a major role in the NBA streets. NBA's a grind. Hebrew Cheetah was a live finalist last year. That's where I met him in Denver. Took 13th place, like 57,000, something like that. Won 100,000 total in 2 weeks in MMA. Just absolute crusher there. Very excited for Hebrew Cheetah joining us at SHIPITNation.com. And also got a shout out, King of Smack, man. Fire last night. Placed second in the $55 single entry for 20K, baby. SHIPIT Nation tools. Atta boy, King of Smack. Awesome stuff right there. Could he let's talk a little bit about Andrew Heaney. Good call, Butthole Jenkins. I think he's interesting. So on 2-pitcher site, for sure, Berrios is right in that range, Gibson's right in that range, and Heaney are the 3 I'd group in there. Berrios is definitely my least favorite. I like some Baltimore. See, my man Zim is saying Adley's going yard today. I like some of these Baltimore lefties for sure. So he'd be the one I'd throw out. I like Gibson the most, but Heaney has upside. I mean, he hasn't shown it nearly as much this year, but 10+ K game every once in a while. Pitchers up behind the dish. 4.5 K props and juice on the over. I think he's fine in the mid-tier. No Williamson, no Jackson. Probably don't need to get to Waldichuk. It'd be Schultens for me. Gibson in the mid-tier. I'd rank the upper tier. assuming all the games play, I don't know. There's a lot of strikeouts in the Cincy lineup. There's a lot of power as well, but I'd probably go Merrill Kelly 1 with the price, Steele 2 just because of the ownership, and then Lopez would be my third in that upper tier. Talk about pitching, just round it out. Gyiraszin, your final thoughts and your rankings.
Yeah, as I meant, I mean, you guys know, I just playing FanDuel, so I need one guy. Lopez for me stands out. I think Steele's a good pivot off of that. I think Kelly will be in play. Gibson's in play. You guys mentioned Heaney. I think all the other guys are going to be sub, 10%, whatever else. I think you're going to see the ownership bunched up on 3 or maybe 4 guys if you throw Gibson in there. But, I'm going to rank them. Let's say Lopez 1, Steele 2. I'll go Gibson 3, and then Kelly 4.
Love it. Great stuff. Jake, our man, came in. Sorry for being late. Don't got to say sorry as long as you hit that like button, Jake. All we ask from Scared Creation mentioned Texas, Minnesota, best hitting weather on the slate. Yeah, it makes me like Pablo Lopez a little less, but it's actually a pretty good 5-game slate. There's multiple ways you can go at pitching, upper tier, mid tier, and all the way down. So let's talk some bats. First game on the slate. Still don't have a lineup unless we got one recently. No, still don't. Chicago Cubs, Pittsburgh Pirates, Justin Steele, Andre Jackson, it looks like, and then the bullpen behind for Pittsburgh. I like Steele. No thank you for Pitt. As far as these Cubs, though, man, Andre Jackson, not very good. Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen, nothing I'm worried about. Some expensive bats. Bellinger finally all the way up to 6'4". Nico Horner, 5'9". Prices finally where they should be, but there's should be some cheap bats at the bottom of the order to mix in. Can 5-man stack it, enough cheap pitching. I definitely like these Cubs. 80 degrees, good, guaranteed ninth inning at bat. Sign me up for the Cubbies. No Pirates. What do you got? It's not Jackson starting. Who is it? Just
I think Jackson's going to be the long reliever, is what I think. But I don't know.
I thought it was going to be a lot of the bullpen, but I thought Jackson was going to get like 3-4 innings. But
yeah, I think
I don't
he's
know if it's
supposed
not
to get
first
majority of the work. But hey, if it is Jackson, which there's several places pointing that it's we're going to look at Jackson here. But hey, I mean, Jackson's terrible against lefties, low K rate, high fly ball rate. Bellinger's in play. I think he's in a great spot. Talkman's in a great spot. Happ's in a great spot. Candelario. But I think, you'll probably see Jackson, I would assume, middle, beginning part, second, maybe 4 or 5 innings. You'll see him pitch 2 or 3. His hard hit percentage against righties is at 65%. His left-handed hard hit percentage is at 53%. I think the Cubs are in a good spot. Obviously, keep your eyes on that weather. Cubs are grading out for me as one of my favorite stacks. But like I said, you just got to watch that weather. But as of now, I'm in lockstep. I think it's going to go. It should play. But definitely lefty standout. I think Cody Bellinger is the top bat on the slate here today.
Love it. No Mookie on the slate for you to be touting as the top bat. So got to mix it up. Cubs have treated us very well. I do like the Cubs. And there's enough ways, like even if how I see it, if you want a 5-man stack, whoever your favorite stack is, like go for it. Like Cubs, good team total, but the A's and White Sox game definitely is going to get some ownership. And there's enough ways at pitching. Like I said, Gibson, Heaney in the mid tier, Lopez, Kelly, Steele upper tier, Waldachuk, the Schultens guy down below. Like all those pitchers are viable. Mix and match them. Ownership will eat into it. It's not one of those slates where it's hard to get away from the 2 chalkiest pitchers that are going to be 70% owned, and then you got to get a lot different or creative when talking bats. I don't think it's one of those slates. It's a good 5-gamer. That's how I see it. So let's keep it rolling. Next game, Toronto Blue Jays, Baltimore Orioles, Jose Barrios, Kyle Gibson. About 80 degrees in Camden Yards, 9 total. I mentioned it earlier. My man Zim, he said Adley's going deep. I like these lefties, man. Adley, Gunnar Henderson, Santander, right there, 1 through 3. Mountcastle, O'Hearn. O'Hearn the lefty, I prefer him, but can go Mountcastle at first, O'Hearn in the outfield. Cedric Mullins down there, Adam Frazier even in second base. Orioles, one of my favorite stacks. I think they come in pretty low owned too. I like the Cubs for sure. Orioles right there with them. Can attack Barrios, gives us some power. I like Kyle Gibson, so I'll say no Blue Jays though. What do you see?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Blue Jays. The Orioles are definitely interesting. I mean, just taking a look at Barrios, you break them down. Last 30 days, man, his K percentage is down like 7% to lefties. It goes down to 17%. And then his fly ball rate is up another 7% to lefties, 0.6%. Its hard hit rate to lefties is 39%, 44% to righties here recently, and it's up to 50% the last 30 days. So, I mean, just kind of looking at this, yeah, I like Rutschman, Henderson. I like the lefties here, O'Hearn, Mullins, and Baltimore's got some lefties that you got to fear in their lineup. So I think Baltimore's in a really good spot here. I like this Baltimore lineup to turn it over. You know, there's a few teams, you know, you end up liking, like the Dodgers. I was talking to my buddy last night. I'm like, man, the Dodgers are so frustrating compared to years past because you only get really like the top 5 Dodgers that you can even really play because you're worried about pinch hit risk and everything else. And the bottom of that lineup's got a lot of speed bumps, that being the Dodgers. But you look at this, you know, Orioles lineup, and I mean, I like it all the way up and down. I mean, you got Frazier and Urias at the bottom. I mean, Cedric Mullins used to hit leadoff. Now he's down there in 7th hole. So, I mean, I think this Baltimore team, you look all the way across, one of their stronger teams on the slate, gets a good matchup. I like it. I think you'll get the Orioles as a lower owned stack. Actually, when I'm going to fill out my my SHIPIT report that I'm going to do here today on the slate, I was already planning on using the Orioles as my low owned stack. So, Orioles for me, looking pretty tasty. Yeah, especially them lefties. I definitely like the lefties here today.
Absolutely love it. Gyiraszin and lockstep. The Orioles are my low-owned stack. I don't think the Blue Jays are crazy because, again, I think they're going to be pretty low-owned. And 4.5 implied total. Like, it's more just game theory looking at numbers saying I think the Blue Jays are fine. 5-game slate, they're not going to be owned really much at all. But I like Kyle Gibson as the pitcher. Some of these names, they got power, but, man, there's strikeouts to be had in this lineup. Oh, but shit. Like, give me Kyle Gibson. Give me these Orioles. Title. Yep.
The Orioles are, if you go to team stats the last 7 days, the Orioles are literally like top 4 in all of MLB the last 7 days in OPS. So we're catching them at a good time too. And they're hitting. So I like to pay attention to stuff like that. To something I like to look at, you know, recency bias, how they've been doing. I think Orioles right now have been smashing. So yeah, that's why for me, they're at the top of my charts today.
Love it. Absolutely love it. We'll keep it rolling. Next game on the slate. Again, 5-game slate. Normal start time, Texas Rangers, Minnesota Twins, Andrew Heaney, Pablo Lopez, 85 degrees in Minnesota. So the Rangers are interesting, man, because Pablo Lopez is going to be one of the chalkiest pitchers on the slate. This Rangers lineup's good. Corey Seager, staple, would be in my stack. They got some lefties there, Lowe's in there, Janikowski cheap, switch hitters at the bottom. It's a good lineup against a pitcher that's going to get some ownership in the best hitting weather. Like, you can make a case for him, no doubt. There's cheap pitching to fit the expensive bats in. And as far as the Twins, Heaney has strikeout upside, but, man, he can be hit around a rough start last time out. He's boomer bust guy, so it's interesting game stack. I still like Baltimore more, and I still like the Cubs more. But, yeah, what are you saying, Gyiraszin? I think this game you can make a case on both sides, and you're not crazy on a 5-gamer. But, again, Baltimore, Cubs, I like more.
Yeah, I mean – yeah, if you're MMEing, I definitely say you should throw in something against Lopez here. I mean, Lopez probably be the higher owned pitcher on probably both sites, I would assume. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go that route, I mean, both offenses are capable, in my opinion. I do like the Twins side a little better, as you mentioned. But, you know, the Twins haven't really done me any favors as a whole, you know, all season. I mean, it's been 2 years, really. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to stack up the Twins. I've probably only done it a handful of times all season. You know, like the Twins for me aren't somebody I just generally stack up. They just don't seem to get it done on a nightly basis. I mean, they burned me several times, but I mean, Heaney, sure. I mean, he's 24% K rate against righties. He's been up to 36% here in the last 30 days. He's actually been pitching pretty well. His ground ball rate's really high to lefties. So, I mean, it's just a tough go, right? I just think there's better spots to attack. I can't fault you. I mean, if you want to look at either one, I can't argue with you. It's just not going to be for me today. I think both pitchers are interesting, so I'd pass. But I don't blame you. You get some pretty good leverage if it does go off, especially if you use the Texas bats.
Yeah, no, we have the same thoughts there. Like, Jake likes the Rangers, leverage off of Lopez, good lineup, makes all the sense, cheap pitching to do it. And again, you want to stack against Heaney, definitely can blow up. So other spots I like more. This is a great 5-game slate, though. Some slates we talk through, and it's like, all right, Strider's 95%. Like what bats, there's the Braves at 6, everyone else is in the 4s. Like some slates just pretty much write itself, or it's a lot harder to stomach getting differently. This slate ownership pretty spread out. It's a good one.
That game though, two titles, the only game that's been dropped down to the over under bet down. So it started out at 8.5. It's been bet down to 8. That's the only game on the slate been bet down. Everybody's talking about it as being the best hitting weather. Well, I'd rather pay attention to what's going on in Vegas. I don't give a shit what the weatherman says when you're comparing the two. I mean, Vegas is Vegas, right? I mean, when somebody's been hammering that under. So I mean, that's something you got to consider too. I like to look at line movements and just see kind of which way the public's going. Sometimes it tells you something that you just you're not aware of. So to me, I think that's a flag.
No, hey, that's a sharp point right there. Sharp point. Got to sell Bitcoin for Bellinger tonight. Yeah, he's finally priced where he should be. 2 games left on this slate. Again, we appreciate that like button. If you want to join us at chipandnation.com, no better time with NFL right around the corner. Last off bundle 321, $321 for the next 6 months. Takes you through Super Bowl Sunday. NBA will be going on. You get projections, you get ownership for NFL, core plays, cash report. All these shows we'll be doing. So much content. A Discord, very knowledgeable members in there. People talking tennis. If you want to get in the tennis streets, Pickett's done a great job. Open up the Discord chat because they were having so much fun and general discussion. So many people hopped on. It was absolutely packed. Open up the channel for them. So just little things like that. Best ball content, MMA, PGA. No better time to join. And also, when you do sign up, you get a 4-hour video. It's not a video, podcast recorded tutorial, Hoop and Tambo, talking NFL process, million acres, showdowns, cash, GPPs, answering questions. It's a great listen. Can't miss it heading into the NFL season. Get your process dialed in for week 1. It's almost here, Gyiraszin. It's almost here. Can't wait. Next game on the slate. Go ahead.
Hop on the wagon, boys and girls.
Best time of the year, no doubt about that. Oakland Athletics, Chicago White Sox, Ken Waldichuk, Jesse Schultens on the mound. This is actually the best hitting weather to me is what I'm seeing. Wind blowing out a little bit, 90 degrees in Chicago. Team a total of 10. These White Sox, this game's going to be popular. These teams are basically free. You're playing Pablo Lopez. There's Merrill Kelly on the slate. People are going to pay up for them. They're going to play some of these White Sox and A's. Cheap pieces at the top of the order on both lineups. Good hitting weather, high team total. Like on this slate, I'd rather, if they're going to be the 2 chalkiest teams, sign me up for the Orioles, the Cubs, the Twins, probably even the Rangers over them. If we're talking this kind of ownership, if I'm going to get half, a third of the ownership. But yeah, you probably like some of these teams. Make a case for them.
This one is interesting. I mean, in my opinion, I'm either game stacking or staying away. I mean, I think that's the way I'd look at this one. I think that's the way a lot of time when I'm in a situation like that, where you got teams that are pretty fair, I just stack it all up and just sit back and watch it, see what happens, maybe mix it up a couple different ways. I mean, Lou Bob has just been smashing the baseball. I mean, that guy is finally, I mean, it took him a couple years to get to where he should be, but Lou Bob is really good. I mean, you got Waldichuk sitting here. I mean, he's got a 21% K rate to righties, 22% to lefties. Fly ball rate is high to both sides of the plate. I mean, swing and strike percentage isn't all that great. So, I think the White Sox, though, are very disappointing. I just don't like the lineup all the way up and down. I think I'd probably only go to 1 through 4, maybe. I don't even really think I'm really happy with Moncada. But, Lou Bob, that's what I say. I just game stack the whole stinking thing. If you're going to go that route, I think it's interesting. I think I'm with you, man. I'm not. I mean, White Sox got the highest team total at 5.6. I mean, we know that bullpen's bad. I like to attack it, but man, these White Sox are just terrible. If the A's bring in a righty, that the White Sox are just absolutely trash against righties. So, I mean, to me, that game's just, I guess it's gambling, DFS, right? I mean, it could go either way. I was just going to say, well, no shit, that's every game. But, title, I think I'm going to stay away. I'm not going to just singly stack the White Sox. I think that's the side I like more. But I'm just not a fan of this White Sox lineup tonight. I just think there's other spots. I mean, if I'm trying to think of a reason to fade these two teams, that's why. Like, I don't like either one of these two lineups up and down. I just think that there's better spots. I'll let everybody else go there. If I do go there, like I said, I'm just going to stack it all up and probably throw Lopez in there, like you mentioned.
Yeah, Trace Thompson would be my favorite bet, and I just saw Scary Creation say the same thing. He would be my favorite homer yesterday, very cheap at the bottom. But no, I don't like this game's going to get ownership. These teams stink. They are cheap. It allows you to spend up. Like, it makes sense with the general construction, but I like the Orioles. I like the Cubs, like the Rangers Twins game. I can make a case on both sides. Why eat the chalk on a slate that I think all those other teams could easily outscore them? So, yeah, no, thank you for me in that game. I get it. But if you do play like game stacker or something like that, try and get a little different at pitcher. Do a little something to get different in that lineup. Giloff going deep. All right, Zim. Two dinger calls from you right there. Last game on the slate, Cincinnati Reds, Arizona Diamondbacks, Brandon Williamson, Merrill Kelly on the mound. Merrill Kelly will be one of the most popular pitchers, if not the most popular. There's so many other spots I like on the slate more, though. Ownership would be spread out enough. No thank you for the Reds. As far as the D-backs, Brandon Williamson. Yeah, I mean, I like some of these righties for the D-backs, though. I like the Cubs more, though. I still think I like the O's more. D-backs thrown right in there in that mix, though, but maybe talk me into it a little more, a little less. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm not interested in any of the Reds bats just with Kelly. I mean, I'm just not going there. I think Arizona's a little bit interesting. Williamson does walk quite a bit of lefties. He has, he's got, last 30 days, he's been walking almost 16% of his lefties here. But, you look at the lineup that Arizona's probably going to roll out. You only really got two of any significance, Marte and Carroll. So that's a little bit of a knock, but, the strikeout rate really isn't there that high. I think Arizona is interesting here today. I wouldn't put them up there with the Cubs, Orioles, teams like that, but I think Arizona on a 5-game slate is definitely interesting. You get that late hammer too, if you like that. But I think it's interesting. Not interested in any of them Reds, like we mentioned, but that would be some leverage if you did want to go there. I'm not going there. I don't like it at all. But yeah, definitely interesting a little bit on the D-back side. I don't know, Title. I was kind of looking at them between them and the Orioles, who I thought would be my low-owned stack that I was looking at. I did lean a little Orioles, but I did think quite a bit about the D-backs.
Yeah, no, they're third. The more I look into it, I like them more than the Rangers and the Twins. So how I'd rank them, that is all 5 games on this slate. And no, Gavin Sheets is not in the lineup, King of Smack. How I'd rank bats, Chicago Cubs 1, Orioles 2, D-backs 3. How do you see it? Top 3 stacks today?
Yeah, I'm going to go Cubs 1. I'm going to go I think I'm going to go Orioles 2. And then I'll just say the White Sox in Oakland game stack. I'm just going to put them together. I'm coupling those together. I'm not splitting them up, but that's what I got. Cubs are standing out for me pretty big today. I think the Cubs are my favorite by far, especially those lefties. So Bellinger for me is the top bat. That'd be one of my easy home run calls if you want to go their Title. But Bellinger's just been smashed. I think it's a good spot. I like the Cubs today.
Yep, love it. And all lineups are in. Just got all the lineups. So that's always good to see. Dang, they have Corbin Carroll batting 7th. Andrew Martinez, against a lefty. Makes some sense. Let's go low-ish owned pitcher. Dong of the day. If you want to use Bellinger, you can do that. If you want to come up with another one to give the people. But low-ish owned pitcher. I'm going right back to Baltimore against Toronto. Yesterday, Kramer treated us well. Very low ownership. Give me Jose Barrios. Give me Kyle Gibson against Toronto. 4.5K props, some juice on the over. I think people either go all the way up, all the way down. We'll get some ownership, of course, but 10, 20% on this slate. I'm not as scared of this Toronto lineup. 6Ks, 6 innings. Sign me up. Kyle Gibson. What do you got?
I like Kyle Gibson as well. I like Lopez, as I said, but keep your eye on that Cubs game. I think Steele's interesting. You'll probably get him really, really cheap today, especially with some of these weather issues. If you wanted to go that route, I think Steele's interesting. I think that would be my low-owned guy just because of the weather situation. But, for me, I think Gibson's interesting. definitely for me. And like I mentioned before, Lopez, my top guy. But yeah, I think if you wanted to look at that route, as we mentioned a little bit with Steele, just keep your eye on it. But if you wanted to go there, he's probably going to be half of what he should be today just because of the weather.
Yep, I agree. So definitely monitor weather, though. It can change fast, as we saw yesterday in the Cleveland game. Dong of the day time, Gyiraszin. Throw it to you first.
Yeah, I mentioned Bellinger. I'll stick with Bellinger. I like Happ too. So either one of them two lefties, I think hits a dong today.
Give me going to the O's, pretty cheap. Ryan O'Hearn in the 5-hole takes Jose Berrios deep. Great show as always, Gyiraszin. Again, shout out to our partner, drafters.com. Use that promo code SHIPIT. They will match 100%. And get over to shipitnation.com. Get in the Discord when you do join. $59 a month. Going to go up to $69 a month on September 11th. $321 for the next 6 months. Comes out to $53 a month. NFL projections, ownership, proprietary tools, everything you need, core plays, access to us in Discord, MMA, PGA, NHL, NBA, best ball, so much going on. No better time to head over, join it. We do think you'll like it. We have a very good product. King of Smack just talking, helped him win $20K yesterday using the tools, stuff like that. It's awesome to see. It's more than picks. It's numbers, what you need, projections you need, ownership you need, hitter rankings, stack rankings, little things like that, analytics, numbers, with our thoughts, all that. That's how you win at DFS. Always think for yourself, too. It's a tough game out there. Don't get too highs on your highs, too lows on your lows. That's enough for me, though. For Gyiraszin, I'm Titletown. Have a good night. Good luck, everybody.